We are all a little wild here with numberless projects of social reform. Not a reading man has but a draft of a new community in his waistcoat pocket. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Another part of this fascinating period of reform was an impulse to form utopian communities where people would live communally. They would share everything together, but they would live apart from the rest of society and try and perfect themselves.
Many hoped to build a perfect society, a utopia. The times were right. Industry was booming, land was cheap and easy to get, and the government allowed many freedoms.
Sometimes these were religious societies, sometimes they were secular. The main thing they offered was a refuge from the outside world, from the hustle and bustle of the American city, from the hustle and bustle of factory work, and from the hustle and bustle of increasing commercialism.
Welsh businessman Robert Owen came to America in 1824 to set up New Harmony, a socialist utopia, in Indiana.
Several hundreds of families sharing everything together and living, men and women separately, celibately, built quite a thriving town. But it didn't last very long. These utopias had a way of burning themselves out.
More successful were the Shakers, who built communities first in New Lebanon, New York, and then throughout the East and Midwest. The Shaker group stayed small mainly because of their strict requirements: no sex, no marriage, no money, and no private property. Hard work, they believed, was a key to perfection.
Up at 4:30 a.m. Work and worship filled nearly every minute. You must not lose one moment of time, for you have none to spare. The devil tempts others, but an idle person tempts the devil. Mother Ann Lee.
In New England, the Transcendentalists emphasized the individual over organized religion or the state. They wanted to transcend, to go above the ordinary, to perfect themselves and society. Henry David Thoreau withdrew from family and friends and built a small cabin near Walden Pond. He believed that bustling cities took people away from nature and that government interfered with freedom.
There will never be a really free and enlightened state until the state comes to recognize the individual as a higher and independent power. Henry David Thoreau.
By the late 1840s, Thoreau put forth his concept of civil disobedience, the individual's right to disobey unjust laws. It was a concept shared by many. Some transcendentalists actively helped slaves escape, arguing that slavery was against God's law and crushed the human spirit. More and more Americans were disgusted with slavery. But how could they fight the powerful southern states that depended on slave labor to keep their economy growing?